Can you guys see the screen? Great. So you did not answer my question previously. How was your day? But when I say, can you see my screen? Yes. So you guys only speak in yes, no? Good? Great. That's great. Oh, fantastic. So yeah, nice. So yeah, this is the panel when you install XAMPP. XAMPP is a package for PHP, Apache, MySQL, uh, and what else? Perl. Okay, so when you install this, you will be having an icon which is of this logo on your desktop. Click on it. Just these things will be stopped defaultly when you open them for the first time. So all you gotta do is like start both of them. You have to start Apache is a web server on which PHP runs, and MySQL is a database which is used to connect, wherein PHP used to connect MySQL. Alright, so you go here, go to the browser, any browser, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, anything. So type localhost PHPMYADMIN. Alright, so this is the URL you are supposed to hit. So I have already so many databases here. So just ignore, click on databases. You guys can see it, right? Click on databases. So uh, before the class started, I've given you some assignment to create a form, right? We'll be using it here. So what I call this is blogger. I call this database. I'm naming this database as blogger. Okay, right. It has been created now. You see on the screen's left side, just below ACL underscore test here, there is the database which I have created just now. Alright, so I'll just click on it. If I click on it, now it says the database selected is blogger and there are no tables. It asks me to, okay, do you want to create a table? And it has several options to uh, import, operations, privileges. Okay, privilege is nothing but, okay, do you want to create a new user to access this, new password to access this? Okay, and I never got chance to, which is not capable of handling. Okay, I've never got chance to use these, so I won't be talking about these. So in our context, structure is important. Remember this, structure is important. SQL is nothing but this is where you write in your queries to check, and these are also not important. Export, import, and operations. Okay, so I'm gonna frame them here. What are really important for PHPMyAdmin for us to use is structure, SQL, okay, and there will be something called insert as soon as we create a table. Insert, export, import, and operations. So we'll be discussing all these once we progress. Right? So even before I jump into details, just like we had certain rules in JavaScript, if you guys remember, to name the variables. Okay, we have certain rules to name the variables in PHP 2. So there are some standards in everything. So how do you name something? Okay, there are certain standards. So for me, these standards are my standards. Like they are, I don't know if they are universally accepted, but I follow these standards to make my code neat and clean. So it's always, remember, your code should be neat and clean. Your code will be neat and clean whenever you are organized. Like keep your code organized, use standards. Okay, always follow reusable code. Whatever the code you write, it should be reusable. Always write less code. So yesterday's class I was telling, like, less is the new big. So whatever you write, less is the new big. So this is a caption for coding. Like, the lesser the code you write, the bigger the application will be. It is in anywhere. You take in websites. Okay, you take a website, the lesser the number of clicks, the more the money it generates. So that is where, that's the reason. So less is the new big. So reusable code. Okay. So likewise, there are certain rules in database too. So first rule, always name your database with singular words. Like blogger is singular word. Okay, so database should be a singular word. If you guys know what singular and plural, I hope you know, right? Singular is just one, plural is multiple. Like say, how do you say, class is singular, classes is plural. Okay, so always name your database with singular words. Example, suppose, if let's take Facebook example, if Facebook has to name their database, they'll name it as Facebook. It won't, it will never name it as Facebooks, right? So always remember, like blogger, guest book. And if you have two words, separate them with an underscore. Always remember, if you want to name your database with two words, separate them with an underscore. Guest book. Okay, what else? Guest book is contact contacts or phone book. Let's say phone book, messaging app, so like such. Okay, always remember it should be singular. And the rule number 2, always name your tables with plural words. Example, so blogger, what kind of tables a blogger can have? A blogger will have users, a blogger will have blog posts, a blogger will have likes, comments, etc. Alright, always remember your table name should be plural words. And next, every table should have an ID field. So now tell me, ID field. Now tell me the naming standard for the column names. So when I say ID field, it's nothing but a column name. So what is the style? Guess. Give me wild guess. I hope Taufik should give an answer. Taufik and Rajesh should give an answer, because you guys have been with Tutoslive since a long time. So yeah, Rajni and Siva, Taufik and Rajesh were the students from a long time. So you guys are, yeah, for the first time here, but these guys been here. So Taufik, I guess Taufik's class number must be 36 or 37. Example, fantastic, great. So first name. So if you take users table, first name. So camel case, it's called camel case. Camel case is nothing but the first word. Yeah, I mean, you can do that too. It's up to you guys to follow a standard. If you follow, Rajesh is saying about some standard there. If you want to follow the standard, keep that standard with you. Never ever deviate from there. Of course, yeah, when you go for jobs, you don't know, your seniors may use a different naming convention. Okay, they'll say, hey man, don't use this camel case, use this. I've seen this. I don't know why people do it. The reason why I do it, I'll tell you. The reason why I do is, a database is always enormous. Okay, it should have a perfect name which is singular. Okay, and coming to the tables have data. It will be having rows, hence I give plural names. Like, it makes sense to give them plural names. And why small case? I always use small case because, again, whenever I use small case, I feel like, it's enormous. Just like less is a new big. So when I give small case, I feel like, yeah, this is really, this is gonna go big. So that's what I feel. And coming to the field names, column names, first name, last name, why camel case? Because when I use, most of the times these column names, okay, come from forms. You see, previously we saw this example, wherein, you guys have written a text box and a text area there. You name something there. If you post it, it goes to database. We'll see that how it goes to database. So when it goes to database, these are my field names. Most of the times these will be field names. So that's the reason I use camel case, because I use camel case for my form elements. Okay, so that's how I follow the standards. I have a story behind why I follow these standards. Now if tomorrow you go to a company and ask the guys like, hey, what's your story behind following this standard? Let's see what kind of answers we get from those people. Okay, so yeah, always keep in mind that, okay, if you follow a standard, follow it forever, because it makes your life simpler, your coding life at least simpler. All right, so every table should have an id field, and this is how you name your column names. All right, yes. Now great, the next thing is, never ever save a date or number using varchar. This is another mistake people do. What they do is like, okay, let's put the date as varchar. What's a big deal in it? Okay, so yesterday's class, go to yesterday's class. I have discussed in the last video, part 6 I guess. In the last video I've discussed what really happens when you store a different data in a different column, of a different data type. So you waste memory. So this will waste the memory. Don't do it. Never ever do it. Okay, always follow that particular rule, wherein you don't have to save one kind of data, okay, which is a number or a date or anything. You never ever try to store it in a different data type field.